trouble I see, glory, hallelujah.
I would like to read a letter from Walter Naegle, the partner of Bayard Rustin. Dear esteemed New York City Council, I am writing in memory of my late partner Bayard Rustin to urge the New York City Council to pass Resolution 0976 and Intro 1621 in support of the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons and divestment from the nuclear industry. Bayard, a longtime New Yorker, is mainly known as a civil rights activist and the organizer of the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom.
My late partner, Bayard Rustin, was active in the struggle for civil and human rights for more than 60 years. While he is best known for his work in the African-American struggle here in the United States, especially his masterful organizing of the 1963 March on Washington, he often said that his activism was not rooted in the fact that he was black. Rather, it was deeply rooted in his Quaker ideals, the belief in the oneness of the human family, the commitment to nonviolence, and to equality of all human beings. Thus, he was compelled by his beliefs to be an outspoken opponent of war and militarization, and I firmly believe he would speak out passionately in support of the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. It was during his time in federal prison for violation of the Selective Service Act that the United States dropped the first atomic bombs on Japan. A few years later, in 1948, he included these thoughts at the Arch Street Meeting House in Philadelphia. William Penn lecture. Quote, on August 6, 1945, a bomb fell on Hiroshima. At that same moment, a bomb fell on America, and its impact was felt around the world. Since that time, there has been considerable discussion of the atomic bomb and its effect upon man, and much of this discussion speaks of the bomb as a new factor in the stream of history. The atomic bomb has forced us to raise a question. Will not those who rely on violence end not only in utilizing any degree of violence, but in justifying it? If the answer to this question is yes, then the use of violent force becomes the greatest problem of our time. We thus observe the eternal truth proclaimed by Lao Tse, Buddha, Jesus, St. Francis, George Fox, and Gandhi. The use of violence will destroy moral integrity, the very fundamental of community on which peace rests. We cannot remain honest unless we are opposed to injustice wherever it occurs, first of all in ourselves.
He had a long history of involvement with a variety of social justice issues, including economic justice, immigrant and refugee affairs, and LGBT rights. His work against militarism and atomic nuclear weapons began in the 1940s with the American Friends Service Committee. He traveled the country speaking out against militarism and the dangers of the arms race. Learning of the destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he reflected on the threat that such awesome power posed to human survival.
Bayard took part in civil disobedience with Dorothy Day, Michael Harrington, and others by refusing to take shelter during the first of several civilian defense drills in New York City in 1955. These nonviolent activists proclaimed the folly of seeking shelter during an atomic bomb attack, recalling the obliteration of the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by far less powerful weapons. In 1958, he was invited by Britain's Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament to speak in Trafalgar Square at the commencement of the first march to Aldermaston to heighten awareness of Britain's growing atomic stockpile. This event marked the first appearance of David Holtam's design for the symbol that has become universally known as the peace sign. The fall of 1959 found Bayard in Africa, on a mission to travel to the Algerian Sahara, where the French were planning an atomic bomb test. Though the international team of activists was not able to prevent the test, their attempt made news throughout Africa and inspired countries still engaged in the struggle against colonialism.
In 1964, he spoke here at an anti-Vietnam War rally on the anniversary of the destruction of Hiroshima. Were he here with us today, I know he would be urging the New York City Council to move forward on these initiatives. So thank you, Walter, for that, and we're going to have that in the testimony, obviously.
Later, in the mid-1960s, speaking about U.S. policy in Vietnam, he said, quote, "Gandhi taught us to be humble. He taught us that truth is political as well as moral, and that we are in this boat together. Let us therefore see that we must find a new international means, not based on backing the United States, but a new international means by which we say to the U.S., which has this great arsenal, it is indeed war itself that is the enemy. Therefore, the arsenal is the enemy. Let us depend on new and creative means to bring about peace."
If you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home, tell all my friends I'm a-coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.